and thank you for logging in. My name is Jordan with the latest in technology, AI, and robotic news. On February 22nd, the Federal Communications Commission has entered into the Federal Register new rules for Internet service providers that would end net neutrality. These new rules would allow Internet service providers to limit or block content served to their subscribers. The new rules require ISPs to disclose to users how they handle content served on their network, with enforcement of the new rules being handled by the Federal Trade Commission. When the new rules will take effect has not been announced, but the federal filing opens up the new rules to litigation. Attorneys general from a dozen states, consumer protection groups like the New America's Open Technology Institute, and tech giants like Mozilla and Vimeo have amended lawsuits filed in January in the hopes of keeping the rules from going into effect. Google and Facebook have also pushed back against the new rules through their trade group, the Internet Association. Over 83% of Americans also support an open internet. Advocates are concerned that these new rules will make it more difficult for startups and small businesses to compete if they are prohibited from reaching new customers online. On February 27th, tech companies like Medium, Tumblr, Etsy, and GitHub joined advocates for net neutrality by holding a day of protest to encourage the Senate to roll back the new FCC rules. Currently, there are 50 senators in the 100-seat chamber who support the FCC's new stance. Only one vote is needed to repeal the new rules and reinstate the original Obama-era order. We will have more on this story as it develops. It's Fashion Week and Milan and technology is playing a big role in this year's events. Dolce & Gabbana hit the runway for their fall-winter fashion show with a flight of quadcopters. A half dozen of the drones took a turn on the catwalk, displaying the company's latest line of bejeweled leather handbags. The technical feat wasn't without its challenges though. The show was delayed for nearly an hour while issues with Wi-Fi were debugged. It has been reported that attendees were asked to turn off the Wi-Fi hotspots on their mobile devices. A problem that I have never had producing this show. This isn't the first time that technology has been used to show off the latest in fashion. Intel showed off wearable tech that gathered biometric data on the wearer at last year's Fashion Week. I can't wait for next year's where I hope to make my runway debut. Now we are going to check in with Cozmo, who is on location to give us the latest weather report. Cozmo, how's the weather?
Thank you, Jordan. She was opening up her umbrella. She thought it was going to rain. When we all heard a snap, like the clap of a trap, and we never have seen her again.
Cozmo, what does this have to do with the weather?
It's Portland. It's always raining. I thought this poem would be more fun.
Thank you, Cozmo. We will check in with you next week. Hopefully there will be a change in the weather. Finally this evening, a robotic assistant named Simon will be joining the crew of the International Space Station in June. Developed by Airbus and IBM for the German Aerospace Center, the robot is designed to work with human astronauts as they perform their tasks. Weighing not more than I do and about the size of a basketball, Simon will be able to follow astronauts through the station and display instructions or information with its on-board screen as needed. Using the Watson AI platform, Simon will also learn on the job and not just help but also offer solutions to problems. It will also help keep the crew safe, serving as an early warning system for technical issues on the complex station. Simon will be launched into orbit with German astronaut Alexander Gerst, who will put Simon to the test by having the robot assist him on several experiments. When not assisting Gerst, Simon can also interact with the astronauts using some of its preluded games and music. Simons can also recognize faces and voices of the astronauts that it works with. It can even recognize changes in a crewmate's mood through their facial expressions. Airbus hopes that results of Simon's celestial mission will give long-term effects. The data collected by Simon will be able to help ground-based researchers observe how teams form and dissolve over time in the cramped environment of the station. This data will be used to help plan future long-term missions to the Moon or Mars, voyages that will have similar conditions found on the ISS. Here on Earth, developers hope that robots like Simon may also find their way into hospitals and social services, helping doctors and social workers. That's all we have for today's show. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. We would love to hear your thoughts, and let us know if you have a story that you want us to report on. Thank you. This is Jordan Robot, logging off.